I'm Kristen, and I am a pregnancy coach that works with mamas all over the world. I help you go from feeling anxious and overwhelmed to really enjoying your pregnancy, preparing for a sacred natural birth, and giving your baby the beautiful beginning that you are dreaming of. Today, I want to talk about if you're feeling scared of labor and birth, what do? You need to watch this video if that's the place that you're in. Maybe birth is a huge unknown for you. It's something that you've never done before and you're not quite sure what to expect. Or maybe you had a difficult birth experience before and you're really scared that that's going to happen again. Either way, you know in your heart that you want a natural birth experience, but you're just scared. What do you do when you're in that situation? The first thing that I want you to do is realize that fear is normal. So many women all over the world are worrying about their birth, and that's okay. There are steps that you can take to overcome those fears, or at least settle them down so that they're reasonable and don't get in the way during birth. The truth is that most of us, all of us, have fears. I've had 8 babies, and I can tell you that even with baby number 8, even after 7 beautiful natural births, I still had fears with my 8th baby. It's natural. So one of the things that you can do to let go of fears is do practical work to start to understand those fears. Practical is important because the reality is that many of the things that we fear as pregnant and birthing women are things that are preventable. Our culture likes to perpetuate the myth that most childbirth complications and pregnancy complications are unlucky accidents, that there's nothing that you can do to prevent them. But the reality is we can prevent many things that go wrong in pregnancy and birth. That's not 100%. There are some true emergency situations out there that arise, and we're grateful for life-saving interventions when they do happen. But for the most part, so much is preventable. So if there's something that you're worried about, for example, postpartum hemorrhage, you can do research and learn what evidence says about that. I've done videos on postpartum hemorrhage that you can go look up, or we can talk more about that if you want to know more. I don't have time to go into it a lot, but it's a fear that you can conquer because it's something that you can see and know. If I'm healthy and well nourished during pregnancy, if I honor the hormonal flow during labor and birth, if I have mother-directed pushing, if I have undisturbed time with my baby in the 3rd stage as I birth my placenta, those things are all going to make it extremely unlikely that I have a postpartum hemorrhage. So I know that was a crash course, but you can do that for every single concern that you have. For me, especially with my first few babies, my big fear was, what if I need a cesarean section? And that is something that can be big and nebulous, and even going, okay, well, how do I prevent that, Kristen? There's a million different reasons I could need one. Might feel overwhelming. But in that case, something that helped me was to understand what is a cesarean section, what happens. Turn the lights on these things. That's a big thing. There are monsters under the bed. When we're little, we're terrified that there's something under our bed, and then our mom or dad comes in and turns the light on and you realize that it's your brother's dirty socks. Okay, maybe that's monstrous, but it's not as bad as you were thinking that it was. So when we do that about birth fears, we turn on the lights, and it may be a practical understanding. If I'm worried about an intervention, what exactly is this intervention? What will happen to me? What would healing be like? That helps just because it takes away some of the fear factor. And then you can and should ask, what can I do to prevent this from happening? For example, an unnecessary cesarean is often part of a cascade of interventions. And so starting to understand that and being prepared for childbirth, choosing a birth team, and most especially doing the work to prepare yourself for a natural birth goes a long way. So those are all practical. And then you're also going to want to do the mental and emotional work that comes along with these things. Oftentimes we worry and fear things because we worry about our physical safety or about our baby's safety, and we also worry about, what will this say about me as a mother? What does this mean about me, and how will this impact my future? And that's where you do some of that inner work. For example, if I need a necessary cesarean section, how will I act? How will I feel? What will I do? What will I know within me? What will I be able to acknowledge about myself? For example, it might be that I can acknowledge that I did a great job being as healthy as I could possibly be. I did a fantastic job dialoguing with my birth team. We had collaborative care. This particular emergency arose, and even though we needed to dialogue quickly, I feel like we dialogued well. I made a decision with them. I didn't have something pushed on me. I didn't feel like I was stuck in a cascade of interventions. I understood that this was an emergency situation and that this was the best choice for me and my baby. And then I also know that I can nourish myself and help myself heal afterwards. I know that it will be okay for my baby and myself to perhaps mourn the experience that we lost while we also celebrate this new life that we're beginning together. That's just a little bit of a thought exercise that you do where you imagine how you will acknowledge yourself, both the sadness, but also acknowledging everything that you did well and consciously and intentionally preparing. So when you pair these things, this practical along with this mindset inner work, it helps you take those fears that may feel overwhelming, or if you're just trying to push them to the back of your mind and ignore it, but it keeps creeping up here and there, or it keeps getting reflected back at you in what other people are saying to you. Doing these things will really help make a difference for you. Having said that, I know that if you're watching this, a natural birth, an uncomplicated pregnancy, a beautiful beginning is something that you really value. And you may be thinking, Kristen, I have all these fears, or it's like you said, I just am not sure where to start. I'm worried about this, but I don't know what to do, or I'm scared of this complication, but really, how do I actually prevent that from happening? What are the steps? What does the evidence say? Because my doctor acts like it's just an accident, and everybody in my family seems to think that it's inevitable that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And how do I handle all of that? That's what I love to help you do as a pregnancy coach. I help break through all of the bad advice, all of the outdated advice, and all of the misinformation or even apathy about understanding this. And I talk to you about what the evidence says. What the evidence says about practical things you can do to prevent complications, practical steps that you can take to prepare for your birth. And I'm also there with you as you do the fear clearing, as you do that mental and inner work, that inner journeying that you need to do. And as you give yourself grace, one of the biggest things that I help my clients do is sit back and realize how fabulous of a job they're doing and how they can grow in their strength and their confidence in themselves and their ability to give their baby that beautiful beginning with the mentorship and support that I'm able to offer to them throughout their pregnancy. If that level of support sounds good to you, I would love to chat with you. My coaching includes regular chats via Zoom, as well as text access to me, even voice texts if you need to rant about something, or if you just need to ask me a question before or after an appointment. I'm there for you. Let's jump on a call this week and talk about what that support looks like. Head over to birthbabylife.com/beautiful.